Mama. Pa. You scared me half to death. I thought you were a real audience. Are you a real audience?
Yes.
Oh. Well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, Gothenburg Drama Group proudly presents Murdered to Death. We've got something very special prepared for you tonight. Like a roller coaster from the 1930s, it twists and turns and is very unsafe for those poor souls who happen to be invited to Miss Bagshot this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoy the show.
Are you absolutely sure that the dinner will be ready, Dorothy?
Of course. It's been in the kitchen burning for most of the day, Auntie.
It's just so rare that I have people for dinner these days.
I thought you prefer mutton, actually.
Pardon, dear?
Oh, sorry?
Sorry, I thought you spoke. Would you close the curtains, dear? It seems to get so cold in here.
Absolutely. I love to. Got nothing better to do.
Auntie, the elephant! Oh, here, how careless of me. Is it damaged?
Oh, a little scorched on one side, but I think you will manage. You ought to start wearing your spectacles, you know. Then we wouldn't have these little accidents, would we?
No, I couldn't possibly. They make me look old. I know I'm getting older, but at least without the spectacles I cannot see I am. Colonel Craddock gave me the elephant, you know. A present from India.
You know, they're meant to be unlucky when they have their trunks raised. That one was nearly very unlucky. Oh, there is one logs left. I go and fetch Bunting. If I can find him, that is.
What do you mean, dear?
He gives me the shivers, lurking around the place, creeping in dark corners. I never know where he's gonna leap out from next.
Don't exaggerate, Dorothy. Bunting never leaves. He's not capable of it.
Well, he definitely lurks. I don't understand why you keep him on. He's hopeless.
Bunting, why? I couldn't possibly let him go. I mean, he is practically an institution here. It's going to be marvelous having a house full of guests again, like the old days. It must be nearly 2 years that we have been all together in Paris, dear. Do you remember that holiday? Oh, happy days. I'm so looking forward seeing the Colonel again, and Pierre, such a charming young man. He made me feel years younger. Or perhaps it was just a Paris air. Huh? Do hurry up and fetch Bunting, dear.
Logs! Mom.
Oh, Bunting! I do wish you would announce yourself by the front door and put that axe down. You look like a madman.
I cannot chop logs without it, Mom. I'm not an exponent of the martial arts.
But there is no need to bring it in here. Just put the log on the fire and leave the rest by the side.
I only brought the one, Mom. It was rather heavy.
Really, Bunting, I don't know why I bothered.
I didn't realize you did, Mom.
Now, Bunting, just put a log on the fire, would you?
Very well, Mom.
Oh.
Will that be all?
suspect that the guests will be arriving shortly. I suggest that you announce yourself by the front door so they don't need to wait for 10 minutes.
By the front door, Mom.
And we will be wanting some sherry when they've all arrived.
Some sherry, Mom. Will that be the best sherry, Mom, or the cooking?
The best, of course.
I only asked, Mom, because there is very little of the best left. Half a bottle.
But we only recently restocked.
You must have drunk it, Mom.
What did you say, Bunting?
I said, you must have drunk it, Mom.
Now, look here, Bunting. I think it's time that you are reminded of your position in this house.
But I know my position, Mom. I'm in the lounge at the present time.
Now, Bunting, would you please stop answering back?
I'll try to curb my naturally exuberant nature, Mom.
This would be all. And reorder some sherry next week, would you?
As you like, Mom.
Door, Bunting! Oh, I think you were right about Bunting. He's becoming insufferable.
I found him trying to chop logs in the kitchen again. I ask you, with all the food around, I don't... Oh, I'm sorry. He rarely managed to hit anything.
Well, I think we need to keep a close eye on him. He has started on the sherry again.
Oh, no. I thought we weaned him off that after last episode.
Well, if he goes missing again, we know where to find him.
You think a man of his age would have more sense? He could have died of exposure in the fish pond. Incidentally, I heard some gossip about him in the village. He's been talking to someone at the pub about his lurid past, an affair he'd had with a woman years ago.
Bunting, an affair? It seems highly unlikely to me. I mean, who would want him? At last! I thought they are never going to arrive.
Shall I go and get it?
No, dear. It's time that Bunting earns his keep for once. Do I look presentable, dear?
You look fine, Auntie. Just relax and enjoy the weekend with your friends.
Thank you, Dorothy, for organizing everything. I don't know how I would manage without you.
Bunting, Mom.
Yes, Bunting. What do you mean? Where are the guests?
You instructed me to announce myself at all times, Mom.
But not when there are guests to announce, Bunting. Now, let them in immediately.
As you like, Mom.
Bunting.
Thank you. Oh, Mildred, how nice to see you again.
Oh, Mildred, old girl, how are you, my dear? By Jove, I think you look younger every time I see you.
Really, Charles?
How is young Dorothy over there? Are you keeping an eye on his battle axe, I see? Oh, it's marvellous stuff. It's really marvellous, really.
Colonel and Mrs. Craddock, Mom.
Pardon, Bunting?
I said, Colonel and Mrs. Craddock, Mom.
Bunting, you announce guests when they enter, not 5 minutes later.
They didn't give me the chance, Mom.
What?
Will that be all?
Yes, thank you, Bunting. And take the bags up to the green bedroom, would you?
The green bedroom, Mom. I expect I'll manage them by myself somehow.
And more guests should be arriving shortly.
How very delightful for you, Mom. I expect you'll be wanting me positioned by the front door so they don't have to wait.
Door, Bunting! I'm afraid you have to excuse Bunting. He is not quiet himself these days.
Bunting, you said? You know, I swear I've seen that chap somewhere before.
Of course you did, Charles. You've been here before.
Have I? Yes, so I have.
Of course. Margaret, this is your first visit here, isn't it?
And I must say that, Mildred, I am very impressed. The grounds seems to be huge.
7 acres. The entire estate is several thousand acres, but it's all leased out to the local farmers these days. Do sit down, everyone.
Charles?
What's that now? Sorry, Mildred. I'm still just trying to place where I've seen that chap before. The thing about me is I never forget a face. No, I don't. I mean, you take just the other day, for example. I saw a chap I haven't seen in absolutely years. I recognized him at once. I said, Beaky, old boy, how are you getting on there, old son? Oh, you should have seen him. He was amazed.
That you recognized him?
No, actually. It was more the fact that he'd never seen me before in his life. I said, it was the wrong chap. Can you picture it? He got a little bit abusive after that, and he actually rather objected to me calling him Beaky. But I say, he really was a very odd chap.
You're not going to bore us with your pointless stories all weekend, Charles, don't you?
I'm having a spot of fun, old girl, please.
He wouldn't be the same old Charles without his little stories.
Yes.
Find them rather amusing.
But you don't hear them as often as I do.
Would either of you care for a sherry?
Not for me, thank you.
Well, I won't say no to a little snifter. So long as the sun's over the yard arm, of course.
Dorothy, dear, would you call Bunting?
I'll go. I think Bunting cannot cope with any more jobs at the moment.
What an absolutely delightful young girl. I say, if only I were 30 years younger.
But you're not, Charles. It must be really nice for you, Mildred, having a young person above the house.
Yes, it is. I don't know how she puts up with me sometimes. I get so irritable these days.
Well, that's old age. You see, it does catch up with all of us. Take Margaret here, for example. Oh, come on, old girl. I'm just having a joke.
Indeed, I'm very grateful to Dorothy. I sometimes think that she should be socializing with people of her own age, but as I keep telling her, there is no one suitable around here.
No.
One needs to be so careful not to lower one's standards.
Mm-hmm.
And still, if she continues to follow my advice, she will be very well rewarded.
Really?
Of course, none of us lives forever. When I'm gone, Dorothy will benefit most handsomely.
Is that so?
I have no other relatives left now.
Oh, but I thought you had other relatives.
None at all. I've seen them all off. Oh, Dorothy was so young when her parents died. Tragic circumstances. My sister's fault for taking it up with the wrong sort. Yeah, he drank and gambled away most of her fortune and squandered all of the rest. They ended up penniless and hating each other.
How did they die?
A suicide pact.
Oh.
They killed each other.
Oh!
Actually, rather a murder pact.
Oh, God. Oh.
He hacked her head off with their last remaining decent piece of silver. An attractive but rather blunt fish knife.
Oh.
How dreadful.
Ironically, he himself died the following day. It transpired that she kept poisoning him slowly over months.
Oh.
I sometimes think that Dorothy holds me to blame because I've always refused to settle their debts.
Mildred, please, this morbid talk is getting me depressed. I say, ladies, have I told you about the time?
Sorry it took so long. Bunting had hidden it.
Bunting? I still can't remember where I've seen that chap, but it's getting really irritating.
I shouldn't let it worry you, Charles. You were about to tell us one of your stories.
Was I? Oh, thank you. I don't suppose any of you recall what the story was about, because I'm dashed if I do. Anyway, it'll come back to me later on. Cheers, everyone, to the very best of good health. They really don't make sherry glasses quite so large these days.
Help yourself, Charles.
No, I wasn't trying to suggest anything. If you do insist, though.
Well, in that case, Mildred, if you will excuse me, I would like to fresh up. It's been such an exhausting drive down there, especially with Charles on the wheel.
I'll show you to your room, Mrs.
No,
Craddock.
don't bother yourself, darling. I will ask Bunting. Excuse me.
So you've still got the old bear then, Charles?
You mean Margaret? Yes, I'm afraid so.
Oh, I meant the car.
That's not an old banger. That's a Bentley. I don't know where I'd be without her. She's getting a little temperamental in her old age, I suppose, but, well, so's Margaret, for that matter.
I'll better go and check on the dinner. Is there anything else you want, Auntie?
No, thank you, dear. Well, Charles, how have you been?
I'm not bad. Yeah, not bad, you know. Getting an awful lot of stick from Margaret. She seems to think I spend too much time at the club. I can't understand her myself. Sometimes a chap just needs the company of some good old chaps. Yeah, good chaps down at the club. It's good with the chaps. And...
Stop rambling, Charles. You know what I mean. When are you going to take me up on my little proposition?
You take it steady there, old girl. You're putting me in a very awkward spot.
Do you remember, Charles? 30 years ago.
I remember like it were yesterday. Year were 1906 and Kent had won the county championship.
The year we met, Charles, when our affair started.
Yeah, it's an awfully long time ago. Lots of water under the bridge and all that.
And ever since you have been promising, Charles, the next year, and then the year after.
Mildred, we're getting a little long in the tooth for all that now. I say, a chap tends to slow down a little bit.
I don't expect it still to be a mad, passionate thing, Charles. All I want is you, your company, your companionship.
But what about...
Not expecting for the world.
But what about Margaret? I can't do that to her.
We never loved each other. Not the way we did. Not the way we still do. We should have taken the plunge years ago.
But that's just the point. We've left it too late. Mildred, there was a time after your Albert died, we might have made a go of it. But gosh, not now. No, not anymore. We're too set in our ways. Margaret depends on me.
You're wrong, Charles. You belong here with me. I will never let you go until the day that I die.
Dash it all now, Mildred. This has got to stop. All these letters that you keep sending me to the club. It's bloody well embarrassing when my mail smells of your perfume. The other chaps are starting to talk. It's jolly well not on. It's got to end.
Charles, it won't end.
Yes, it will.
That's all I got left now. What if I am to tell Margaret about us?
Mildred, please. You wouldn't. Would you?
I think it's time she knew.
Oh, God.
This weekend.
No, Mildred, please.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Would you rather...
It's all right, Dorothy. Come on in.
But...
I was just telling Charles that Margaret ought to know.
Mildred, no! But...
I think she would find it amusing, don't you, Charles? My little accident with the elephant.
Oh, the elephant.
Elephant?
Yes, the elephant. I rescued her just in time. It would have been a terrible mess.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Those elephants. Yeah, tricky beasts are elephants. Came across my share of them when I was stationed in India.
Oh.
Another guest.
I'll go. I think Bunting is still upstairs. Short of sliding down a banister, it will take him ages.
No, dear, you are doing too much running around. I will go myself. I won't be a moment, Charles.
Oh, God.
Are you all right, Colonel? You look rather pale.
No. sometimes get a spot of the old mental indigestion.
Oh.
Nothing that I can't fix. I say, Dorothy, these are the guests. Anyone I should know?
Oh, you certainly do. They were in Paris. Pierre Marceau and Elizabeth Hartley Champington.
Pierre Marceau. Pierre Marceau. No, I've got no recollection whatsoever. What is he, some kind of a foreign chap?
Oh, yes, he's French. Don't you remember Elizabeth either?
Now that's an entirely different matter altogether. Oh, delightful young gal.
That's her.
Wonderfully well endowed, as I do recall. Financially, Dorothy, I'm talking in the financial sense. Obviously, I meant financial. She's got some enormous assets.
You remember Dorothy and the Colonel?
Colonel Craddock, how absolutely super to see you again. What a wonderful little lounge, Mrs. Bagshot. Quite quaint.
Thank you, Elizabeth. I didn't expect you and Pierre to arrive together.
Tremendous stroke of luck. I just settled on the train with a boring old book when Pierre got into the very same compartment.
I have the happy knack of always finding myself in the company of beautiful women.
He's been talking like that all the way. It certainly brightened up the journey. Quite tedious passing by through all those industrial working areas. Oh, quite ghastly.
I say, this chap is quite right, of course. You know, I've always thought I've got an eye for a pretty young girl myself, actually.
One does one's best to look presentable.
I expect one has to.
Why, Dorothy, darling, I haven't noticed you there. And how nice you're wearing that lovely little frock I so admired in Paris all that time ago.
Well, do sit down, everyone. Would any of you care for a sherry?
Well, I won't say no.
Dorothy, dear, would you be so kind?
I say, what is it that brings you over here, Mr.
Charles, surely you remember, Pierre is a painter.
Do you know, actually, I was going to say this place is in need of a fresh coat or two.
Oh, no, Charles, Pierre.
What?
I come to sell paintings. I stay for 2 or 3 weeks, depending on my success.
I get you now.
The man is a genius. Absolutely super.
You flatter me, Elizabeth. Unfortunately, I must make my money on the work of others. Qu'est-ce que vous dites? Willa-dilla.
I really don't get how he can drag himself away from Paris. Super little town.
It's possible. Can't say I care too much for that enormous iron erection of theirs, but still, the licensing hours, damn civilized, of course.
And the fashions. I have to travel to Paris at least twice a year for the fashions. One can't go around in rags. Can one, Dorothy?
Fashions? No, I can't see the fuss with all that. Waste of time, if you ask me.
But if you forgive me, Colonel, this is the trouble with you British. No daring, no sense of aventure.
There is no lack of daring in the British, old boy. Listen here, Frenchie. Waterloo. Agincourt. Get what I mean? It's not a lot of use you chaps wearing fashionable hats when all you're good for is getting them shot off.
There is no need to fall out, Charles.
I think I've made my point.
Forgive me, I have offended you. I withdraw my words.
Tactical retreat. The one thing you chaps are good at.
One thing, Mom.
Yes, Bunting, what is it?
I wonder if I might have a word, Mom.
Carry on. Where are you going, Bunting?
carry on, Mom, as you instructed.
I meant to carry on and tell me.
I see, Mom. I thought you meant for me to carry on with my duties. You usually tell me to carry on when you want me to carry on.
Now, Bunting, what was it that you wanted to tell me?
It's just about the accident, Mom.
Accident?
In the kitchen, Mom.
What?
A small mishappening with the axe. The head fell off. Add some speed, Mom.
I'll go and have a look in a moment, Bunting.
As you like, Mom.
I think we should plan something for the weekend.
Any suggestions?
Well, I had thought that I'd get in a spot of shooting. It's some dash good sport around here, if I remember rightly. Don't suppose that you shoot, do you, Mr. Old chap?
I prefer to create rather than destroy. I would not know one end of the gun from the other.
Yeah, that does sound about right. You are French. Perfectly understandable.
Yes, Bunting, was there something else?
I wonder if you might want me to take any action in the meantime, Mom.
What about?
The fire, Mom.
It's all right at the moment, Bunting. You can bring in more lucks a bit later.
I meant the fire in the kitchen, Mom.
Bunting, but we haven't got any fire in the kitchen.
We have now, Mom.
What?
It's just a small one at present on the stove. Although the dinner is starting to look somewhat overcooked.
The food! Bunting, don't just stand there. Go and help!
As you like, Mom.
I knew something is going to go wrong today. I just knew.
Oh, try not to worry about it, old girl. I'm sure it's going to turn out shipshape. I say, Mildred, that's really an extraordinary chap you've got there. I was going to ask you if I could borrow him for the shoot. Think I'm having second thoughts now. He's a bloody liability.
I wonder if I might be allowed to accompany you, Colonel. I've always wanted to try my hand, but Daddy says it's far too dangerous for a girl.
There is nothing dangerous about it when one knows what one's doing. I say, Elizabeth, we'll have to make an early start, mind you. Rendezvous 0600 hours.
You can't possibly mean 6 o'clock in the morning.
Well, of course I do. Early bird gets the worm and all that. I say, Elizabeth, might you fancy a little walk now before dinner? You and me, a little recce of the grounds, perhaps.
What a good idea. What about you, Pierre?
Oh, you will have to forgive me. I would prefer to stay here. I'm rather tired after all my travels.
Are you sure?
Oh, do not concern yourself with me. I will be very happy here.
You heard the chap, Mildred. Can't force him if he doesn't want to. Let him stay here. But, suppose I'd better check if Margaret wants to come.
Very well. We shan't be long, Pierre. Help yourself to a drink, would you?
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir? Voulez-vous...
Where is everyone?
They went out for a walk.
Oh.
Have you repaired the dinner?
Oh yes, the dinner. It's going to be fine. It's quite not what it used to be, but nobody will notice the difference. Taking a leaf out of your book, Pierre?
I have no book.
Oh, but I saw you were admiring your paintings.
Ah, oui, oui. Admiring them, yes, but they are not mine. Such finesse. Only wish I could paint so well.
I think you're far too modest, Pierre. A famous French painter, you said, when you sold it to my aunt.
Oui. One day these paintings will be worth many times the price your aunt purchased them for.
Oh, I'm sure the originals will. It's just such a pity these are forgeries.
What are you saying? You were with your aunt when she purchased them. We even had them valued at another gallery.
But then you replaced the originals with your forgeries. You know my aunt was ignorant about art. She wouldn't even notice the difference.
Dorothy, never have I heard such a cock and cow story. Elizabeth will vouch for me. I've had many dealings with her father.
I don't care tuppence how you swindle away from Elizabeth and her father. Do you take me for a fool, Pierre? I may not know much about art, but I have a very good eye for detail.
You are making a very big mistake, Dorothy. I swear, these are the originals.
Oh, well, in that case, you wouldn't mind if I call the police.
Ha, you're wasting your time. You will make yourself look very foolish, Dorothy. Your aunt will never forgive you.
I guess I have to take that risk.
Oh, wait! S'il vous plaît. Put the phone down. Perhaps we can talk a little.
So I was right. Good. I wasn't quite sure. Oh, and take my advice, Pierre. Never play poker. You lose badly.
So you've tricked me. What happens now?
Well, that all rather depends on you, Pierre. I'm not a vindictive person, you see. Let's assume this is your first offense.
But it is! I swear!
Well, you shouldn't. It's a bad habit. How much did you sell these paintings for? £2,000?
As a favor, I gave her a special friendly price, 1,900.
Oh, you all heart. I suppose that for £5,000 you could have a lapse of memory about this conversation.
5,000? I do not have 5,000 pounds.
Oh, but dear, I didn't want to embarrass you. Since you were so generous, I'll give you a special discount. A friendly discount. £4,900. You have a week, and then I'll call the police.
Zut alors, but that is impossible, a week is far too short!
Well, that's all you get! Oh, you're very lucky, Pierre. If my aunt would ever find out about this, she wouldn't be that understanding.
Abandon all thoughts of a walk. It's so cold out there now.
I think Pierre finds it rather hot in here, actually.
Really? Remove your jacket if you please. There is no need for ceremonies among friends, dear. The others have gone to change for dinner. The dinner is all right, Dorothy.
It's gonna be fine, Auntie.
Pierre, you must have seen that the paintings have pride of place. They do so cheer up the room.
Yes, the paintings.
I'm so pleased you persuaded me to invest. I know I've only got them for a short time, but how much would you say they are worth now?
About 2 years, I suppose.
Pardon, dear?
Oh, but Auntie, you have had your paintings for 2 years. Well, Pierre, how much?
It is difficult to say. I would say about 5,000 pounds.
Oh, really? That much? You see, Dorothy, I knew I had a bargain. She never really liked them.
No, but I'm beginning to see the good parts now.
And how many paintings have you brought for me to look at this time, Pierre?
Forgive me, I have nothing for you.
But surely your luggage in the hall.
Regrettably, they are not suitable for you. I've already sold them.
Oh, not to anyone I know.
Thankfully, Dorothy, no.
What a pity.
Wow, who can that be? I'm not expecting any more visitors.
Shall I go and get it then?
No, dear. It's definitely time that Bunting earns his keep. I start to have real reservations about him.
You should have seen the status of the kitchen, you know. It looks as though a battle has been fought in there.
Bunting, Mom.
Yes, Bunting, who is it?
Bunting, Mom. I just told you.
Who is at the front door, Bunting?
Miss Maple, Mom. I observed her approach through the conservatory window.
You mean you haven't opened the door yet?
I thought you may wish to ignore her, Mom. I've heard you remark on occasion that she's a interfering busybody.
Oh, now, really, Bunting, let her in immediately.
As you like, Mom.
Auntie, we could have ignored her, you know. She might have already gone home. Already got home, yes.
Couldn't possibly do that. She means it very well. She lives down in the village, at least when she is there. She's always going off for holidays and visits. The curious thing is that wherever she goes, the most dreadful things seem to happen. Someone always seems to get murdered.
They positively drop like flies. She's become quite famous for it.
Then we better be careful, Dorothy.
Bunting, Mom.
Oh, just carry on with it, Bunting.
As you like. Miss Maple, Mom.
Thank you, Mr. Bunting. Oh, I hope you don't mind me calling in, Mildred. I didn't realize you had visitors.
Oh, that's all right, Joan. So you haven't noticed Colonel Craddock's car in the drive?
Ooh, a car. Yes, I did. Very nice to meet you, Colonel.
Oh, no, Joan. This is Pierre Marceau, another guest of mine.
Ah, how silly of me. Very nice to meet you, monsieur.
Enchanté. I'm very happy to see you as well. Now, if you will forgive me, I need to prepare myself for dinner.
That makes you sound like a turkey, Pierre, waiting to be stuffed.
Excusez-moi, ladies.
What a delightful young man. His accent rather reminds me of a Belgian gentleman I know.
Oh.
Do you have several guests staying, Mildred?
Just a couple of friends over the weekend.
How charming. I do so love a party. And I can't help of noticing the delicious smell emanating from the kitchen. I expect you have excelled yourself, Dorothy.
Thank you, Miss Maple. It's very kind of you.
But I mustn't keep you. You'll want to enjoy yourself with your friends. I have a very small, cold collation prepared for myself. I was hoping my nephew would drop by to see me, but he seems rather tied up with one of his young gentleman friends. I find it so dull eating alone. Anyway, I must leave. I only called in because I thought that Dorothy might be away this weekend, and I hated the thought of you on your own up here, Mildred. Still, I have my cold collation.
There is no need for you to leave right away, Joan. Just stay for a little while.
I couldn't possibly disturb you. I expect you will be dining soon.
Yes, but it's no trouble.
I hate to intrude.
You wouldn't?
Very well then. Since you are so insistent, I promise I have the appetite of a sparrow. You won't even notice that I am here.
So you are staying for dinner then?
But of course, it would be quite churlish of me to refuse such a delightful invitation.
We'll be eating in 30 minutes, if you excuse me, ladies.
What a delightful young girl. Quite reminds me of myself when I was that age. Quite charming. If I'm not remember correctly, you purchased these paintings from Pierre Marceau?
Yes, and never regretted it.
I do so love art.
That's a dash funny thing that's just happened. Oh, I beg your pardon. I didn't know you had company.
That's all right, Charles. This is Miss Maple from the village. Meet Colonel Charles Craddock.
How do you do?
Delighted, Colonel.
We were just discussing the paintings, Charles.
Which paintings would that be?
The ones that I bought from Pierre. But of course, you never seen them, did you? You left Paris before Pierre showed us his collection.
I guess I must have, yes.
In that case, you must give me your opinion. Charles considers himself as somewhat of an expert.
I wouldn't quite go that far. I've never been able to afford too much for myself, but I have bought the odd one for the club money. I'll take a little look, shall I? See what we're dealing with here.
Well,
Not bad. Yeah. Not bad at all. Do you know, I've seen this chap's work before. Yes. Oh, it's possible. It's really possible. I say, these are some damned good copies.
copies?
Damned good copies. You did know, obviously.
No, of course I did.
You were saying something funny had happened, Colonel.
Was I? Yes, I was, actually. Something dash funny did just happen. But when we cancelled the walk, I brought downstairs my old 12-bore and my old service revolver for young Elizabeth to have a little inspection. Well, I say, my 12-bore is still there. My old service revolver's gone missing.
Oh dear. How inconvenient.
Inconvenient? No! It's damn well dangerous is what it is. The blighter was still loaded. It could cause a very serious accident.
Perhaps it was one of the other guests playing a small joke on you, Colonel.
Oh, maybe, but... No, actually, no, I don't see the funny side. You don't go around fiddling with a chap's private things like that. It could... No, it could just go off at any moment. It's jolly well not okay. No, I say it's not cricket.
No, most certainly not.
No.
Such a relaxing game, though.
It really is.
My nephew is rather good.
Is he?
His friends tell me that he's something of a left arm bender. At least I think they talk about cricket.
Yes, they're bound to be. A spinner, a bowler, a spinner. Now, it's funny talking about cricket because I've actually been known to bowl the odd googly myself, as it happens. You know, Mrs. Mum, I say, you'll have to excuse me. I've got something that I need to take care of. I better dash off.
How disturbing for the Colonel. Have you known him a very long time? Mildred?
Sorry, did you say something?
Yes, I was asking about the Colonel. How long have you known him?
It seems like forever. Now, would you excuse me for a moment? I had a book somewhere in a dining room, I think.
I expect he cut a dashing figure in his younger days.
He certainly did, in his fine uniform. The girls used to flock around him. Now, where did I put that book? Oh, you gave me such a shock, so you found...
Oh, Mildred? Mildred!
What's happening? What's going on?
It really is quite unfortunate. I seem to bring people such awfully bad luck. Your aunt has been shot dead.
Just how long exactly do you intend to keep us waiting here, Constable? I've been waiting for 2 hours and absolutely nothing has happened.
I'm sure it won't be long, madam. The inspector is just familiarising himself with the layout of the house.
Tell me, Constable Tompkins, I was wondering if it might be one of the inspectors whom I worked with on a previous occasion.
I don't believe so, Miss Maple. You know, actually, he's an acting inspector. Apparently, there's a very nasty flu virus over at Milton, and plain clothes are a bit thin on the ground.
So, in fact, we've been waiting by a sergeant? But I don't see the necessity. We already gave you a sickness last night.
Calm down, old girl. Get nowhere trying to rush these things. I expect the boy's just following routine. I say you've got to have routine in the services. Lose all discipline if you don't.
I don't care how long they're gonna keep us here. As long as they find out who killed poor Bunting.
Perhaps you might give the young lady a drink, Mr. Bunting.
Very well, sir, as you like.
Come and sit over here. Thank you, Constable. Very good suggestion. You can sit yourself down. Oh, Dorothy, darling. It's a dashed rotten business, all of this. It really is. But I say, Dorothy, one really must keep the old stiff upper lip, eh?
Here you are, Miss Dorothy.
Thank you.
Get that down, you Dorothy. Try not to think about it is the best way.
Yes. I'll be alright in a moment.
A bullet does such terrible damage to a skull at close range.
Miss Maple, really?
I'm most terribly sorry. beautifully. It's just that I've grown so used to the things. The blood and the brain.
Aha! So this will be the lounge, huh?
Have we been waiting all that time just so that you can make such an obvious deduction, Sergeant?
Inspector Pratt, and yes, it was obvious,
Craddock.
Mrs. Craddock. That's the way I work. I start with the unmistakable and then proceed to the unmistakable. Was it obvious to any of you that this elephant has recently been roasted? No? I thought not.
I thought it's more common that elephants are poached, old boy. Oh, come on, I'm trying to lighten up proceedings, please.
And you are?
Charles Craddock. Colonel Charles Craddock, retired.
I see. Wife of Mrs. Craddock here.
Oh, no.
Is everyone assembled, Thompson?
Tompkins, sir.
Why?
They're all here, sir.
Good. I'll begin. You should listen very closely to this man. You might learn something. We are a bit more sophisticated down in Milton than here in the sticks.
Sophisticated? Yes, sir. Is that 1F or 2, sir?
I've assembled you all here to ask a few questions about the unfortunate and regrettable circumstances of yesterday.
Excuse me, Inspector, but we already gave statements to one of the gentlemen
Yeah.
last night.
I'm quite aware of that, but I wanted to see you all myself. A good detective can spot a villain a mile off at close range. And you are?
Elizabeth Harley Trumpington.
Right. So we are all in the very room where Miss Buckshot was so cruelly and brutally cut down last night. What I would like...
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, Thompson?
Tompkins, sir.
What is it?
Mrs. Bagshot wasn't actually in this room at the time, sir. She was in the dining room by the door, sir.
I'm quite aware of that fact.
Sorry, sir.
As I was saying, the shot that so fatally killed Miss Buckshot was shot from this very room. What I would like...
Again, sir.
What is it now?
The shot wasn't fired from in here, sir. The murderer was in the hall and fired through the doorway, sir.
Oh, thank you very much. I really don't think we need to be such sticklebacks to details, Thompson.
Tompkins, sir.
The bullet that killed Miss Buckshot passed through this very room in which we are now assembled.
Without a doubt, sir.
Good. First of all, I would like you all to take up the positions in which you were in when the fateful occurrence occurred. Right here. Where are you going? Where are you going?
To do as you asked, Sergeant.
They were all elsewhere, sir. Except for one.
Then why did you assemble them in here?
Because you told me to, sir. In the lounge, you said, sir.
Are you trying to make me look like a fool, Thompson?
No, sir. That's the last thing you need right now.
You need to buck your ideas up if you want to make anything of yourself in the force. For the sake of briefness of brevity, I'll conduct my questioning in here.
Oh, I wish he'd make his mind up.
So which one of you was here when young Miss Buckshot was so brutally and cruelly cut down in her prime?
I fear it was me, Inspector.
Huh. And you are?
Miss Maple.
And your surname, Miss Maple?
Maple is her surname, sir. You know, she's actually somewhat of a celebrity in the village, sir.
Thank you very much, Thompson.
Tompkins, Inspector.
And the reason for your celibacy, Miss Mabel?
Oh, it's hardly that, Inspector. It's simply that I've been involved with this kind of thing many times.
Murder?
Most regrettably, yes, Inspector.
Regrettable indeed. So you were the only person alone in the room when the bullet passed through. Did you see anything?
No, Inspector. It was travelling rather too fast.
Oh, as I suspected, huh?
I remember her last words. She must have caught sight of the murderer. She said, "So you found." Then the shot was fired. I ran to her, but upon examination, she was dead.
Did she say anything?
No, Inspector.
Thank you, Mrs. Marbles.
My pleasure, Inspector. I only wish I could be of more help. However, I hope you won't mind me saying that it would perhaps be less confusing if you simply called me Joan.
No. Colonel Craddock!
Yes, old boy.
It was your gun that was used to perpetuate the crime to happen, huh?
Yes, I'm afraid it was. Some blighter stole it from down the hall.
Careless. Very careless.
You're right, old chap.
Just checking on the dining room. So, if we piece all of that together, what have we got, Thompson?
I don't know, sir. Mrs. Maple may have been trying to say, "So you found your gun," implying that she saw the colonel.
Exactly. I was wondering how long that would take you. What do you say to that, then?
Complete balderdash. No, I was in the lavatory down the hall.
And do you have witnesses?
No, of course I don't, man. A chap doesn't take witnesses with him to a little boy's room, does he? Not unless he's up to no bloody good, of course.
According to the statements, your wife was in her room.
Yes?
How about you, Miss Hartley?
Trumpington. I was changing. Pierre had helped me to carry up my bags for me.
Changing? So you were scantily clad in your underwear?
Quite naked, Inspector.
Pierre! Our mysterious Frenchman. Bonjour, mon amigo.
Bonjour, Inspecteur. Je vous aiderai de mon mieux.
Where was vous when le shit was fired?
Pardon?
Pierre does speak excellent English, Inspector.
In that case, I'll conduct my inquiring questions in English. For those that are not as affluent as I. Where were you when the shot, bang, was fired?
I also was in my room.
I see. That leaves two unaccounted for. Your name!
Dorothy Foxton, Inspector. Mildred was my auntie.
That would make you her nephew.
Her niece, Inspector. I helped her a lot around the house.
I see, she had troubles getting about.
Not really, no.
Then why mentioning her niece?
Her niece? Her niece? I did it! Look, I live here. I was in the kitchen when I heard the shot.
There is a connecting door from the dining room to the kitchen, sir.
I've noticed that, Thompson.
Sorry, sir.
What did you do, miss?
Well, I was in the kitchen, as I said, and heard the gunshot. So I ran into the hall and went through the door, and then I saw Joan, but then I saw poor Auntie laying there.
Sorry. Yeah, thank you, Miss Foxglove. That just leaves you.
Bunting, sir.
Yeah, I deducted that. The faithful family container. Where were you?
The cellar, sir. Stock taking.
And where is the cellar?
Down there, sir.
No, where is the door?
At the end of the hall, sir.
Right. You can show me later.
As you like, sir. It's just an ordinary door.
Interesting. Very interesting indeed. Where does that leave us, Thompson?
7 possible suspects and not a corroborated alibi between them, sir.
Now you just listen here now, old chap. I say you can't possibly think it was actually one of us who did it. We're respectable people, dash it.
Do you have a better theory, Colonel?
Well, yes, of course I do. Really thought you chaps might have figured this one out for yourselves by now. I'm thinking it went something like this. A burglar enters the building. He picks the gun off the floor. Then he's spotted by Mildred. And that blighter goes and shoots her.
That's a possibility. Very strong possibility, Colonel. Huh?
But it does seem that Mrs. Bagshot did recognize her killer, sir.
Which is, I immediately dismissed it. And why are you trying to cast suspicions elsewhere, Colonel? Watch him closely, Thompson.
Yes, sir.
Where do we go from here?
I suspect I know where you're leading, Inspector.
You do?
Mm-hmm.
Well, perhaps these good people don't share our little secret, Mrs. Marbles, huh?
In my experience, it's the most crucial point.
Oh yeah, the utmost cruciality. I will let you take over, Thompson. It will be a good experience for you.
Thank you, sir. I assume that we're looking for a motive, sir?
Aha! Well done, Constable.
Exactly. What was the motive, huh?
I don't know, sir.
There might be a will. Invariably a very good starting point.
Thank you, Miss Maple. Does anyone here know about...
Thank you, Thompson. I will take over now. Does anybody know of a will?
I may be able to help you, Inspector. Auntie mentioned it to me once. I think it's held by a solicitor.
And do you know the terms?
No, I'm afraid not.
Pity. Anybody else?
Begging your pardon, your worship.
Inspector would suffice.
Or a sergeant.
Mrs. Bagshot did once say that if something were to happen to her, she'd leave me a small pension. Will that be all right, sir?
I don't think it's up to me. Do you know anything else?
I once did hear her talk to someone else about the will, sir. Didn't quite catch the details.
And who was she talking to?
I don't want to say, sir. I do not want to get anyone in trouble.
Trouble! That's right. That's where I recognize you from. Some kind of trouble. Answer me this, Mr. Bunting. Were you also serving in the forces in India?
If you don't mind, Colonel, I am the one asking questions here. Answer me this, Mr. Bunting. Were you also serving in the forces in India?
No, sir.
Pity. Another dead end.
Actually, I think Mr. Bunting was just going to tell us about the will, sir.
I know, Thompson. I hadn't forgotten. Well?
I don't remember, sir.
You don't remember what?
The question, sir. It's the shock. My legs have turned to jelly.
Don't trifle with me, Mr. Bunting. You were going to tell us... Thompson?
Who else knew about the will?
Good, just checking. So?
It was Miss Dorothy, sir.
Now we're getting somewhere. Why didn't you mention this before?
Because my name isn't Dorothy.
I realize that, Mrs. Haddock. Don't underestimate me. I haven't mentioned the will to you earlier, because I felt you were already too upset. However...
Actually, you did, sir. When?
Yes.
Just a minute ago, sir. You know, she actually denied all knowledge.
Very well, Thompson. Getting the hang of it now. Why did you lie, Miss?
I'm sorry. I really didn't mean to. I was frightened. Auntie told me that I would get a large part of the estate if she were to disappear, and I thought you would suspect me.
It hardly surprises me. I had suspicions from the staff inspector.
I didn't kill her. You have to believe me, Inspector.
I believe you, dear.
Fortunately, Mrs. Marbles, I'm not so gullible. Mrs. Foxglove had a strong motive, and what's more, a really good reason. She was in the kitchen, which made it easy for her to stealthily steal into the hole where she stole the gun. Shortly after stealing the gun, she stole slyly into the doorway and shot the shot that got Miss Shockbox.
I didn't!
I think that ties up things nicely, Thompson. Charge her.
I wonder if I might have a word, sir.
What is it?
I don't think we can charge her, sir. I mean, we don't have any real evidence.
What's wrong with you, man? We can take her down the station and make something up.
But what if that doesn't stick, sir?
Of course it will. When I'm done with her, she will be like a party in my hands.
I was only thinking about your reputation, sir.
What?
I mean, if we couldn't make a real case out of it, sir.
That will be all for now. Don't leave the house. I might have further interrogation and questions later.
What about me then?
Same applies to you, especially to you, miss.
Don't leave the house, indeed. I shall be reporting you, Sergeant.
Does anyone care for a pot of tea? I always find that it's helped to calm the nerves.
Begging your pardon, old chap. I say, I wondered if I might just have a quick word, but bit of a tricky matter, actually. It's a delicate one.
Yes?
Well, the thing is, I just don't want my wife to get wind.
I see she has a history.
What?
Wind?
No, man! No! But, Inspector, can I rely on your complete discretion?
Of course, Colonel. Anything you say will go no further than my ears.
Very good. Well, the thing is, chaps, I actually do know something a little bit more about the will. Mildred had said that she might leave me a sum of around £5,000.
I don't think this amount should concern us.
Little bit more to it than that, old boy, and that's the delicate part. Mildred had also said that if I were to out-survive young Dorothy, not very likely, of course, but in that case, this house and this entire estate would then be left to me.
Now, that would actually be a great deal, sir. But why leave it?
Well, that's the tricky part that I'm getting to. Is over the years, Mildred and I had become very, very good friends.
But she must have had many friends.
She had some, yes, but let me rephrase that. Over the years, Mildred and I had a liaison.
An affair, sir?
No, Constable, no! I wouldn't go so far as to say that, man. No, not that. No, we had a... You know, it was a... Well, yes, it was an affair. I can't think of it.
And how long is
Do
this?
you mind,
Been
Jonsson?
going on about 30 years, all in all. Obviously, we've calmed down a lot in recent years. But listen, Inspector, please. I'm telling you everything about the will, but damn it, man, my wife can't find out.
I see no reason why we should tell her, Colonel. We all men of the world, eh?
Oh. I say, old chap, I'm dashed grateful. I really am. I'm dashed grateful. Oh, do you know, all of this business really sets a chap's head spinning, but gosh, it feels good to make a fresh start. I say, Inspector, would you have any objection if I just took a quick turn around the garden?
I see no reason for us to take turns. I have pressing matters here.
Jolly good show, chaps, and Inspector. Great to know we understand each other. Mrs. Maple, really? What?
Don't worry, sir. I'll take care of this.
Can't a chap have any privacy anymore? Really now?
I really hope you weren't doing what I thought, Miss Maple.
Most certainly not, Inspector. I only returned to retrieve my knitting. I seem to have mislaid it. Oh, there it is. Would either of you care for a tea cake?
I wouldn't say no. Very kind of you, Miss Maple.
And I expect the Inspector would want one as well. I won't be a moment.
What do you think so far, sir?
It's a tricky one, Thompson. So many suspects and not a corrugated alibi between them, huh? The woman that just left, the so-called Marbles, she worries me. Why is she so keen to be known as Mrs. Jones, huh?
Actually, her name is Miss Maple, sir.
Really? Or is it just another alias? By her own confession, she has murdered before.
No, sir. I think she just solves them.
And Colonel Haddock, very fishy. Does he know more than he's saying?
I don't believe it so. I don't believe so because if he was guilty, why tell us so much in the first place?
Easy. As soon as he saw me, he realized he would have to come clean. He's used to deal with trained men. He realized my ruthless, relentless streak and knew I would leave no stone unturned in the pursuit of justice.
I see, sir.
Strange that he should mention this, what's her name? Mildred woman. We need to check where she fits into all of that.
She's dead, sir! She was murdered!
Another one, Thompson! Makes you shudder to think how far some people would go. But you know what? I have a gut feeling that Dorothy Foxtrot is our man.
Woman, sir!
What?
Dorothy Foxton is our woman, sir.
Very well. I was wondering how long it would take you to come round my way of thinking.
Now, that's not exactly what I meant, sir. You see, what you said was, not to worry, but I do still think there may be one or two stones left to turn, sir.
Are you trying to be funny, Thompson?
No, sir.
Good. Doesn't suit you.
I have your tea cakes. I do hope you like strawberry jam. It's rather my favorite.
Not while on duty, Thompson. We've got an image to maintain, man. If you want something to do, fetch me the gun. It's in my car. And do something with this. Important evidence. Cannot just leave it laying around like this. When Thompson comes back, I would like to try a little experiment. See if we can jog your memory, Mrs. Marbles.
That might be helpful. You know, I feel very uneasy. At this stage, I usually have a little inkling.
Oh, don't let me keep you, madame. It's down the hall on the left, I believe.
I must say that I'm absolutely delighted that you have eliminated me from your inquiries, Inspector.
I wouldn't say so, Mrs. Marbles. Or should I say, Mrs. Jones, huh? I discount and eliminate no one.
Well, in that case, you really must be more careful. If I were a deranged killer, I could just have eliminated you.
I don't think so. I'm a highly trained fighting machine.
But I've come across so many cases of poisoning. Most unpleasant death. I find such an underhand method.
Thompson, about the time. Thank you. I intend to try an old and trusted technique to see if Miss Marbles can remember or recall anything about the event. It's called reconstitution. You, Thompson, you'll be Miss Big Shot, and I will be the killer.
Would you like me to be myself, Inspector?
Yeah, that's a good idea.
And I have Mrs. Bagshot's last words recorded right here, sir.
Yeah, I believe Mildred said she was going into the dining room to find a book.
Ha! Already the plot thickens, huh?
You should be in the hall, Inspector.
I know. I was just going there.
And I'll go into the dining room. Oh, you gave me such a shock, so you found out!
How careless, Inspector! You shot Constable Tompkins!
This is absolutely absurd. What is the point to keep us cooped up here?
I expect the inspector will have further questions upon his return.
Questions? That idiot wouldn't know a sensible question if someone fell out of the sky and landed in his mouth.
With that, I have to agree with.
Why don't you do something about it, Charles? Charles. Charles. Charles!
Form a line! Prepare to fire! Oh. What's going on? Oh.
Nothing, Charles.
Oh.
Absolutely nothing. That's the whole point.
I was in a tricky situation. I was surrounded by a regiment of French butlers. It was... very strange. Oh.
Why don't you do something, Charles?
There was nothing I could do. It was... I was outnumbered. It was a defenseless situation.
To get us out of here, Charles. I've been waiting all that time and nothing has happened.
I'm sure they're going to send someone soon enough, Margaret. They're probably just following routine.
It's not as if we don't know who did it.
Oh.
I didn't! Why would anyone believe me? Come along, Charles. You are going to make a phone call.
Am I? Who to?
The police? Someone in authority? You can't hold us here like this, Charles.
I think you'll find they probably can, actually.
I am not arguing with you, Charles. You are going to make a phone call. In private.
Fine, yes, old girl, fine. I'm coming, old girl.
Stop calling me old girl, for goodness sake.
Sorry, old girl.
Well, Dorothy, it seems as though your little scheme has come unglued.
What scheme?
To kill your aunt and have her money. The police suspects you.
But they can't prove anything, you know.
But I can give them all the evidence they need to have you hanged. I was walking on the top of the stairs. I saw you fire the shot.
That's not true!
It matters little. They will believe me. I will tell them I did not come forward earlier because I was fond of you. But now I realize my duty.
But why, Pierre?
You have caused me much misery. Your accusations about the paintings? Of course, we could come to a little arrangement.
But I wasn't serious about the paintings, you know. I wouldn't have taken all of the money, just enough to reimburse my aunt. I wanted to frighten you, not send you to prison.
Silence, Dorothy! Your motives are not important. You are a wealthy woman now. What I ask is very simple. £20,000 and ignore the matter of the paintings. In return, I will forget everything I saw. It is as easy as that.
Really? That simple?
Bien sûr. I knew you would listen to raison.
Fine. But now you listen to me, Pierre. I was wrong about you. I should have gone straight to the police instead of playing games. When they come back, I'll tell them everything.
But Dorothy, I will be forced to tell them everything I saw.
And why should they believe you? A cheap con man. You're pathetic.
Damn. Blast. Damn.
That sounded very English, Pierre.
He was about to get extremely Anglo-Saxon there. And will you stop using that ridiculous accent? Scare me near half to death, it did.
It gets to be a habit. Did it work then?
What do you think? She's going to tell the police everything, isn't it?
Pretty blue, eh?
I did everything you told me to do. We got to get out of here fast.
What good would that do? They get to us before we got 5 miles. Told you before, there's only one way out.
We can't kill her.
Why not? Interfering, bitch. You hadn't bothered about Backshot.
Oh, Backshot was different.
Why? You're getting soft. Do you fancy her or something?
Of course not.
She's the only thing standing in our way. If she spills the beans, we're finished. We got things perfect. I find the rich old fools. You relieve them of their money. Why spoil all that?
I don't know. I need time to think.
We haven't got time to think.
Perhaps you care to join us for afternoon tea later, Mrs. Craddock?
That was so ghastly, Pierre. How could anyone do that to such a poor, kind old lady? Oh, Miss Maple, we were just talking about poor Mrs. Backshot.
Oh, quite tragic, my dear. It's such a sad loss. And I partly blame myself. I seem to bring such misfortune. Do sit down. I do so love a cozy chat.
We're terribly sorry, Miss Maple. We were just about to take a walk in the grounds.
Oh!
It's so claustrophobic being kept in here. Quite ghastly.
A walk? What a good idea. Would you mind very much if I joined you?
No, of course not. Delighted.
I'm afraid I don't walk as briskly as I used to. But the countryside is so pleasant at this time of year. My nephew often escorts me when he has the time.
How marvelous.
Oh, are you unwell, my dear?
Thank you, Pierre. Just a slight fainting fit. I have them often. It will pass in a moment. Then perhaps Pierre might help me to my room.
It would be my pleasure, mademoiselle.
Hello, everyone! What are you doing?
Mr. Bunting! I believe you've been drinking.
I've had a drop. Do you want to swing?
I don't believe so. Most kind. Perhaps it would be better if you sit down.
I don't want to. I'm subrogating. It's the happiest day of my life.
I don't believe you mean that, Mr. Bunting.
Yes, I do. I'm subrogating because... Why am I subrogating?
I really don't know, Mr. Bunting.
That's funny. Neither do I. She's stuck how she is. Hello, Frenchie. Do you want a drink?
No.
No. Oui. No. I'm rich. She's dead. And I'm rich. That's why I'm separating.
There he is, Charles.
Hello,
Disgusting.
I'm rich.
Get him out the door before he breaks something.
I'll do my best. Oh, come on, old boy, really.
I don't like you.
Oh, that's Napoleon brandy. I'd recognize it anywhere.
Really, Charles? Does it matter?
Well, of course it matters. It's a damned waste. The state of you, man. Can you even walk?
Of course I can walk. I can walk anywhere.
Can you? Oh, really, Mr. Bunting? Oh, come on, man. Get out of here. Oh, I've never seen anything like it. Get out, man.
Take him to his room, Charles. Out of the way.
I'll make him a pot of tea. I always find that it sobers me enormously.
Well, what do you think?
I don't know, maybe you're right.
Of course I'm right. We're going to have to do it straight away. If we're clever, we can frame that drunken old fool. That state he's in, we can get away with murder. Dorothy, how nice of you to join us.
It looks as though Bunting is enjoying himself. I would suggest you also take your last drink, Pierre. You won't get one in a long time.
Are you going away, Pierre? How exciting! Somewhere exotic.
I wouldn't describe it as exotic, rather cheap though. There's something you ought to know about Pierre, Elizabeth, and I need a little reinsurance by telling someone.
Really? How intriguing.
These paintings right here, they are forgeries. He tried to cheat my aunt and tried to deny it, but I have all the proof I need. I have written a full statement, which is under lock and key in the safe. I hope you weren't thinking of doing foolish, Pierre. There's no way out now when Elizabeth knows.
But this is ghastly, Pierre. Is it true?
Oh, it's true, all right. And I also come to believe that he sold some paintings to your father, Elizabeth. You should probably go and check with that with him. It wouldn't surprise me if there were forgeries too.
That's the trick, Mrs. Maple. Get plenty of hot drinks down him. That'll soon sort him out. Elizabeth. I say I managed to get that chap down eventually. Gosh, it really is a damned awful, terrible thing. Drink. Won't anyone join me for one? No? Okay, well you lot suit yourselves. I say that chap's already gone and drunk all the decent stuff. You know, I really ought not to drink alone. Does lead to melancholy. Well, I say it's awfully quiet. Anything the matter?
No, Colonel. It's just so hard to be enthusiastic about anything under the circumstances.
Well, I say, Elizabeth, a little drop of this wouldn't do you any harm. Expect you know a thing or two about drinking, don't you, Mr. Land of the Vineyard and all that?
Yes, we do have the best wines in the world. Although I believe fine wine should be drunk in moderation in order to tantalize the palate.
Really? What a bloody strange attitude. Huh. But still, each to his own, I suppose.
Yes. Now, if you will all excuse me, I have certain matters to attend to.
Don't stray too far, Pierre.
Don't worry, Dorsey, I won't.
There's something very suspicious about that chap. He's foreign. Eyes too close together.
Well, Colonel, he's not all what he seems, you know.
Is he not? Maybe. But I guess none of us really are we? I mean, you take me, for example. I've been doing a spot of thinking ever since poor old Mildred. Well, you know. No, it's time for me to make a clean start. Life's too short for pretending.
But you don't pretend, Colonel. You're the most honest person I know.
Don't you believe it, Dorothy? No, the truth is, I never achieved anything in my stupid life. Never achieved a thing.
No, but all your adventures, travels.
Adventures, travels. Dorothy, I joined the army because I had to. Following in family traditions and all that. But they very soon realized I wasn't cut out for it. Problem is, I'm a bloody coward.
You're not.
My father was able to make some calls to some of the chaps, and he arranged it that I spent all my time serving my country sitting at a bloody desk.
But what about India? The wonderful stories.
India, my wonderful Dorothy. I've been to India one time, and even that was just 2 weeks. No, the truth is, I make up these stories because I want to sound more interesting. Told them so many times, I think I started believing them myself. It's only Margaret who knows the truth. And Mildred. So there you go, Dorothy. I'm not all that I seem to be either. I'm nothing but a stupid fake.
No, Colonel, you're not a fake. I know a fake when I see one.
I say it's funny, Dorothy. I said drinking this alone would make me melancholy. Bit late to worry about that now when gone and bloody drunk it. Well, I say, everybody, here's to Mildred, wherever she might be.
Dorothy, I was wondering if you would care to come up to my room. I have a present for you, some perfume.
Oh, for me?
I know we haven't always hit it off, but I would so like us to be friends. Would you like to come up?
Oh, I don't know. I really shouldn't.
I say, you two girls get off and enjoy yourselves. Nobody wants to be stuck here listening to a stupid old duffer like me.
Fine, but you're not an old duffer, you know. You meant a lot to my aunt.
Come on, Jonsson, it's only a scratch.
Oh my God.
Afternoon, all.
Is it all right if I sit down for a moment, sir? I'm feeling rather faint.
Faint? Don't know what's wrong with you, man. Superficial flesh wound. I had worse from a flea bite. But 2 minutes and you're back on the job.
I really don't know why you brought that poor boy back here. He should be at home resting. I would hate to see gangrene to set in.
Don't worry, sir. The inspector here thought I ought to keep moving.
Well, it's a shame that you weren't moving a bit faster earlier on. He might have bloody missed you.
I had full weapons training, Colonel. I never miss.
Dash it all, man! You make it sound like you meant to shoot that poor blighter. Damn foolhardy, if you ask me.
But I'm not asking you, Colonel. And may I remind you, you're still under suspicion of being a suspect. Tread warily, sir.
Well, tread warily, like him.
Come along, Dorothy. We'll be upstairs, Inspector.
Very good, miss. Very good.
Just a moment, Elizabeth. May I have a word with you, Inspector? Baxter House? Yes? Yes, he's here. Oh, I'll go and get him for you. It's for you, Inspector.
That would be for me. Who is it?
The Deputy Chief Constable.
Ah. Are you sure he wanted me? Might be for Thompson. Did he mention my name?
I think his exact words were, "Where's that idiot who's in charge of investigation there?"
It is for you, sir.
Pratt. No, not you, sir. My name is Pratt. Very apt, sir. Yes, very apt. It's just a scratch, really. Same weapon, yes, sir. Complain, but I'm really close to an arrest. But, sir... Yes, sir. Hello? Sir, hello? Oh, perhaps if you move your fat bottom out of this chair once in a while, then... Sorry, sir. I thought you were gone. Sir. Sir?
You sounded on good form, sir.
Good form? Yes, he's very pleased with the progress. Unfortunately, it would seem like someone rang him and made allegations, huh? On your foot, Thompson. I want to have it wrapped up once and for all. It appears that that you are not doing your job properly. Incompetent. It wouldn't be you, would it, Colonel? Are you the alligator?
As it happens, old boy, I did make a quick phone call.
Watch him closely, Thompson. Troublemaker.
Hang on, don't take it personally. I'm not trying to cast aspersions. I simply said things seem to be dragging this end. Could you kindly speed them up yours?
Speed things up? I will speed things up.
What?
I will speed things up so much you wish.
What?
You wish. You will jolly wish they weren't. What do you say to that, Colonel?
Oh no, it's you again, Sergeant.
Inspector!
Judging by that phone call, I thought you were down to constable.
Thompson, if Colonel open his mouth again, book it.
Yes, sir. What for, sir?
Anything. Use your imagination, man. Disturbing the police. Loitering with a tent.
May I ask, Sergeant, when we'll be allowed to leave? I see nothing to begin by our presence, and I would like to leave before you shoot someone else.
Mrs. Haddock, please don't push me any further. You might learn from this, Thompson. You will come across all sorts of provocation. But you must always keep cool, clear, empty head. Otherwise, you cease to function as a highly tuned crime detection machine. I have learned it from my 20 years in the force.
Just how many of your constables have you shot during that time?
Book him, Thompson! Book him now!
May I have a word with you, Inspector?
You might not, I'm in charge!
Good afternoon, Inspector. How pleasant. Oh, and Constable Tompkins, I hope your foot isn't causing too much distress.
Not too bad, thank you, Miss Maple, but it is rather throbbing. No.
I expect so. A bullet wound can be quite troublesome. I always recommend a poultice of cold herbal tea for any open wound.
Really? Because my Auntie Doris swears by boiled cabbage.
Oh, mind, Thompson.
Sorry, sir.
I would like
I'd
to...
be very interested in hearing the details of the cabbage preparation, Constable. Perhaps you might give it to me later.
I would like to continue.
Mind you, the prices of vegetable can be quite prohibitive at this time of year. Thankfully, I have a small vegetable plot.
Oh. Mrs. Marcos. May I be allowed to carry on?
But of course, Inspector. I'm very interested in hearing your next line of inquiries.
I would like
Just
to...
one moment before you recommence. a certain matter had completely slipped my mind. I was wondering whether you and the constable are joining us for afternoon tea later. I phoned Mr. Coupling in the village and asked him to deliver here. He makes the most exceedingly fine cream fancies.
Would that be all?
Oh dear, I fear I have upset you. Perhaps you would have preferred an individual fruit tart.
I live in hope. That will be done here long before tea. And now, I would like to continue by conducting another small experiment. Fetch me the gun, Thompson.
No, Sergeant. You are not going to fetch that thing here with me.
Rest assured, madame, there will be no more incendiary incidents. I think Thompson has learned his lesson.
Where's the gun, sir?
I don't know, I gave it to you.
No, sir. I was holding my foot at the time, if you remember, sir.
I can confirm that. I have excellent memory for detail.
Then I must have left it in the dining room. It appears to me that the shot that perpetrated Mrs. Big Shot clean between the eyes was either an expert one or a lucky one.
Well, it was hardly very lucky for her, was it, old boy?
Have any of you handled a gun before?
No.
Well, I have, obviously.
Obviously?
Yes.
And why would that be so obvious, Colonel?
Well, because I was in the army, for goodness sakes, man.
Really?
Yes!
So why have you kept such a closely guarded secret? Which rank did you attain?
It's general knowledge, man.
Ah, so you are General Colonel, huh?
Stop this balderdash! I was a colonel!
So why are you trying to deceive me? Why are you so anxious to confuse me with Red Haddock's Colonel Herring?
It's not there, sir.
What?
Must be.
Well, that's damned careless. I say, it wasn't still loaded, was it?
Loaded? No, of course not. You take me for a fool, Colonel?
I have a sense of foreboding. I expect we're all in grave danger. There is no way of telling the actions of an unhinged mind.
Nonsense. No danger at all. It's perfectly safe here.
What?
But I think I got as far as I could here. I leave it to you, Thompson. I need to get back to the station. Damn paperwork, if you know.
Pardon, sir.
What is it? I'm a busy man.
I wonder if I might have a word, sir.
Yes?
In private, if we may, sir.
Or wait in the hall, if you please.
I'm coming!
Get on with it, man, fast.
I think the killer may have played into our hands, sir.
Very good, Thompson. A madman on a rampage with a gun. We've got him exactly where he wants us.
I think that you should send them all to their rooms, sir. Then you announce that you're going to search their rooms.
Very good, Thompson. So you want me to walk into the lion's burrow and find a killer with a gun at my head?
No, sir. At least I don't think so, sir. You see, whoever has the gun will panic and dispose of it out of the window, and all their rooms face the front of the house. Sir, and I was thinking of taking a little hobble onto the driveway, sir.
What for?
To see where the gun comes from.
Ah, yeah, has its merits, I suppose. But I will keep a lookout and you search the rooms. I wouldn't want you to get your foot cold. Off you go, Tompkins.
It's Thompson, sir.
Would you all please retire to your rooms immediately?
Thank you.
This had better work, man.
Inspector!
Oh, Miss Foxhunt.
I caught you alone at last, Inspector.
Yes?
I got a confession to make. A score to settle, you may say.
There's really no need. We can make a deal.
What sort of deal?
Anything you like. You can just walk out of here. I won't say a word. Take my car, if you want.
No, Inspector, this has to be finished now.
Oh, please don't do it, Miss Foxhunt! I'm just a poor copper trying to get through to retirement. I wanted her to fly. Think about my family, the two little brats. I won't tell anyone you're the murderer.
But I'm not the murderer! I have some other important information for you, Inspector. I'm so sorry. This is all rather upsetting.
Not the murderer?
No, Inspector.
Quite so. I was concerned about this rather nasty stain on the carpet, you see. But I believe a bit of warm water should do the trick. We'll be fine. About this other information of yours. Does this contain the identity of the brutal killer and murderer?
No, not exactly.
Then
but...
it can wait. As I speak, I'm currently implementing a daring plan to flesh out the miscreant.
Yes, I do understand that you...
It can wait 5 minutes.
5 minutes. Sure thing. Oh, and sorry if I frightened you earlier. It wasn't my intention.
Frightened? Don't be deceived, Miss Foxglove. Just a cunning ploy to draw you into making a run for it. Think I can illuminate you from my further inquiries. Coming, Thompson. Ready or not?
Trying to kill me!
Thompson! Thompson! Interesting. Very interesting indeed. So you all maintain that when the shots were fired, you were in your rooms?
Except for me, old boy. I just popped out for a spot of fresh air.
And me, sir. I was in the downstairs lavatory.
Pity you weren't out of there a bit faster.
I would have been, sir, but you see, when I opened the door, the colonel was standing right there in a firing position. I thought my number was up.
What number?
It's just the same, sir.
Can you explain, Colonel?
Yes, of course. It's like, I thought I'd had it. He means, had my chips. It's a thing people say.
You know why you had the gun?
Oh, no, I get you now. No, basically, I walked in, I saw the gun laying there, and I picked it up.
And that's when I saw him, sir.
I'm aware of that, Thompson.
Sorry, sir. I was just trying to clarify the events for you.
When I want clarity, I'll ask for it. I usually manage without. Did you see anyone else?
They were all standing on the stairs with the exception of that butler chap.
It all happened very quickly, Inspector. Suddenly we were all on the staircase, and I remember calling to Mrs. Craddock.
And do you recall what you called when you were calling?
It's all very difficult, Inspector. I believe it was another one gone. It's all very tragic, Inspector. And if you just haven't mislaid the gun.
You were in your room in the basement, Butler Bunting.
I wasn't feeling very well, sir. I think I must have caught something.
Too much to drink, if you ask me.
And you didn't hear the shots?
I didn't hear anything, your lordship. I think I must have dropped off.
Dropped off what?
He was virtually unconscious on his bed when I checked on him, sir.
I think it must be the flu, sir. May I be excused for a moment?
What for?
It's rather urgent.
Bagshot, how's Constable Tompkins? Oh, feeling much better, thank you, sir. Sarge, one moment, sir. It's, for you, sir. It's the Deputy Chief Constable.
Right, sir. I'm afraid so, but it wasn't exactly under my nose. Same weapon, yes, sir. Immediately, but sir. Yes, sir.
Didn't sound very pleased, Sarge.
No, Jonsson, he wasn't. And you'll be in very hot water over this. No, I want to have it cleared up once and for all. I haven't got long. Wanted back at the station for another important case.
Well, we shan't detain you any longer then, old boy.
Not so fast, Colonel. Mrs. Marbles, you said that when Miss Bagshot was shot, she went into the dining room looking for a book.
Yes, Inspector.
Well, I've taken the trouble of interrogating the bookcase. And there was one book that caught my eye. Separate from the rest. And I believe it's in this book where the answer to our mystery lies. The art of macrame. Does that mean anything to any of you?
No, it does not.
No? Well, you disappoint me. Because I felt sure that this book held the key. The key. And this is the key that holds the key. If I'm not mistaken, this is the key to the front door.
I believe you'll find it's a safe key, Inspector.
Well, of course, Mrs. Marbles. Why would we anticipate danger from a key, eh?
No, Inspector, a key to the safe.
The safe. That's exactly what I was thinking, huh? If you bear with me by a moment, I will open the proverbial panda's box. Where is the safe, Jonsson?
I don't know, sir.
I believe I know, Inspector. Perhaps you will give me the honor of assisting you.
Thank you very much, monsieur.
But, sir, you cannot give it to...
Stop fussing, Jonsson! Pity you don't show this sort of initiative.
I believe you'll find the contents of the safe unimportant, Inspector. Because I believe I know the identity of the murderer.
You do?
I've been involved with many similar cases. And this one seems to follow a typical pattern.
Quite so, Mrs. Marbles, and I believe your suspicion will only confirm the suspicion I already suspect.
It is my belief that Mrs. Bagshot had a half-brother of Romanian nationality. A half-brother who was rejected by the family and took refuge in Albania, where he mixed with dubious company. He had an illegitimate daughter by the name of Elana. Scorned and humiliated by the family for many years, they plotted to gain revenge and inherit a fortune. It is my belief that Mr. Bunting is that man and Elizabeth is his daughter.
What a ridiculous suggestion. You can't possibly believe that.
Well, but I do. And as it happens, it's been the line of inquiry that I've been already following. No. Would you care to reveal your proof, Mrs. Marbles?
believe that's not possible, Inspector.
Don't be so modest.
But I have none.
Huh? What?
I was merely postulating, Inspector.
What?
Usually upon my revelations, the murderer breaks down and confesses to everything. In this case, I seem to have failed.
But do you mean you made it all up?
Absolutely, Inspector. Thought it was worth a try.
This is marvelous.
Oh.
Like, do you realize the seriousness of your rash posture? Like I could have you charged with a really serious charge.
Yes, we desolate, Inspector, but I come with unfortunate news. The safe, it was empty, with the exception of a small amount of money. Trifle, nothing more.
Pity. Had high hopes. I'd better hold on to this. Could be important.
No copy of the will, I suppose?
No.
Jonsson, I think we covered all possibilities with the will.
But things have changed now, Sarge. The Colonel now inherits the estate.
Is he? Do you?
So it would appear, old boy, yes.
What are you saying, Charles?
No doubt a surprise. But then you were not aware of the long-lasting relationship between your husband and late Miss Backshot.
Relationship? With Mildred. I can assure you that my husband has had no relationship, Sergeant. I mean, not even with me. Tell him, Charles!
I'm afraid I can't tell him anything, old girl, because it's all true. Oh.
Stop it now, Charles.
Inspector, really, I gave you private information in the strictest of confidence.
Regrettable, but inevitable.
Oh.
Another crime has been perpetuated.
Oh.
Over the great many years, your husband and Miss Backshot had a sinful, a lustful, pestilent affair. As a token of her esteem, she made certain provisions in her will. With the death of Miss Foxglove, Colonel Codling becomes major beneficiary.
Could you do this to me, Charles? Could you do this to me?
I think that concludes the investigation.
What? Are you sure, Sarge?
No doubt, Thompson.
What?
Major beneficiary came here with the express intent of killing the two ladies of the house. He did so with ruthless cunning, trying to outwit the forces of the law.
No.
Unfortunately for him, he didn't count on me, eh?
This is absolutely preposterous.
I think not. You were close to the scene of the crime on both occasions. When Miss Bigshot was shot, she said, "So you found." As I deducted at the time, she was about to say, "Your gun." The gun that you were holding.
No. Actually, I deduced that part, Sarge.
Stop trying to be clever, Thompson. Miss Foxglove's last words were, "He is trying to kill me." He. You again. Neither Butler Bunting nor Mr. Marsiliers had anything to gain by killing her.
No.
Charge him, Thompson.
What? Hang on. What? No, but what?
You accuse me of incompetence.
No.
You were the first to cast nasturtium against me, huh? Probably now you see how incompetent I really am.
Now you listen here, Sergeant. My husband may be an adulterer, but you are very wrong about one thing.
I don't think so. I'm rarely really wrong.
Well, yes, you are, Sergeant. My husband wasn't the only man with a motive for killing Dorothy. Look, when my husband was upstairs phoning your superior, I came downstairs and I overheard Elizabeth and Pierre, or perhaps I should say Peter.
What?
They were talking about Dorothy. She had some kind of evidence against them, and they were planning to kill her.
What a suggestion ridiculous! How can you even think of such a thing?
You can't possibly believe her, Inspector. The poor woman is obviously deranged. It must be the shock. She's trying to protect her husband.
And you need not to continue with those phony accents. He's not more French than you are, Sergeant. And she is a common slut.
Common? I will not stay here and listen to this nonsense any longer.
One moment, miss. I think that these two have some explaining to do, Sarge.
I might be of help. I remember now. Mildred seemed quite concerned. Something to do with these paintings.
And they're not the original paintings. They're copies, and he supplied them.
They aren't this together, Sergeant.
Ah, so thick plottings yet again. What are your real and proper names?
Don't say anything, Pierre. This is all a ghastly misunderstanding.
It's no use, Elizabeth. What?
Pierre, please.
It's over, Elizabeth. Can't you see?
No.
Fool! Well, you're not having me.
Jonsson!
Oh, God!
Let go! You can't prove a thing!
Oh, I say, perfect timing between me and Bunting, eh? Like the old Keystone Cop, Sergeant.
Good. Hold on to her, Major.
Stay here.
Oh, pull yourself together, Thompson. Mr. Marsillier, you were saying?
Well, me and Elizabeth, we worked together, yeah? And 2 years ago, we sold these paintings to Mrs. Bagshot. So before dispatch, we swapped the originals with the copies, yeah? Dorothy, she found us out. She tried to blackmail us.
So you mortally killed her?
No, we didn't kill anyone.
I think it's for me to decide.
I told Mildred that these were copies. I bet that blighter over her.
Ah, so you incurably murdered both of them to save your own skins? As I suspected from the start.
Well, hang on, we're forgers, not murderers.
I don't think this will wear in the code of legal law. You should be more careful. You know what put me onto you? When you returned and said there was a trifle in the safe.
Yeah, what?
Rambling of a madman. So I conclude my conclusions. A classically conducted investigation that will be recorded in the annals of most criminal crimes. 2 young innocents murdered to death. Take him out, Thompson. I will manhandle his hardly crumping. Afternoon.
How shocking! They seemed like such fine young people. It never fails to amaze me the depth of which the human spirit will sink.
No, I say, I knew that chap was suspicious from the start. I spot them a mile off.
And I shall instruct Bunting to fetch my bags downstairs. Charles.
Margaret, please. Margaret. Don't suppose she wants to hang around and talk, does she?
I suspect you have to give her time, Colonel. You know, time is a great healer of wounds, both mental and physical.
Margaret's never been one for patience. Gosh, do you know, it's so hard for a chap to explain to a woman how he feels sometimes. I say, it's a jolly shame women aren't a bit more like chaps. It would make life so much simpler.
Oh. But you know, I suspect you could stay here for a moment, Colonel. After all, this will all belong to you.
I haven't even started to think about anything to do with that yet. I'm too damn confused. It's my own fault, of course. I shouldn't have been carrying on with Mildred all these years. Bad form.
You shouldn't be too harsh on yourself, Colonel. We all have our little weaknesses. Affairs, the sensuous curve of a young girl's breasts. And a glimpse of a virgin's thigh.
What?
I'm taking the car, Charles. And you will have your things delivered to the club, and you will be hearing from my solicitor.
Margaret, please, Margaret, don't go off in a huff. Stay with me. We'll have a little chinwag.
There is nothing to discuss, Charles. Absolutely nothing.
Oh, but Margaret, please, old girl.
Don't you dare, Charles. Don't you dare old girl me. I've been married 35 years. And from day one, it's been old girl this and old girl that.
But you never complained. Very much.
There's a lot of things that you never realized, Charles. You were too busy making up your pathetic stories. Busy trying to impress your stupid friends at the club. Too busy to even notice me, Charles.
Oh, but Margaret. Oh, Margaret, please. I'm going to make everything up to you. Scout's honor I am. I don't know what I'll do without you.
It's too late, Charles.
Oh, God.
I've been trapped and there was no way out. But not until now. Do you realize, Charles, that you are suddenly a wealthy man? But I'm going to squeeze every last penny out of you. What do you say to that, Charles?
You seem a little bit upset, old girl.
You're pathetic, Charles. Pathetic.
Oh, Margaret, please.
It's too late, Charles.
Oh, God.
Much too late. And I've got everything I came here for.
But what does that even mean, that you got what you came for?
That's not important, Charles.
Now, wait a minute. You just said you got what... You're not going anywhere. What did you come for? What?
You knew about Mildred and your husband before you came here.
That's no concern of yours, Mrs. Mabel.
What?
And I suspect you knew about the will.
So what if I did?
Oh, I've been very stupid. If you overheard Elizabeth and Pierre planning to kill Dorothy, why didn't you say something in the first place? You wanted her dead.
Yes, I wanted her dead.
Oh.
But I didn't kill her.
Ah, no, but you did kill Mildred. That's what she was trying to say. So you found your husband's gun.
Well, yeah, that's enough out of you. Margaret wouldn't harm anyone. She wouldn't know how. Margaret.
Even now you are underestimating me, Charles.
No, but Margaret, she doesn't know what she's saying.
Yes, I do, Charles. I do. I did kill Mildred.
No. Oh.
Does that shocks you? Good. I found out about you and Mildred from one of your so-called friends. He even passed some of her letters. I found out about the will, and suddenly it was my big chance. I could divorce a wealthy man.
But wait a minute. No, that doesn't make sense, because the estate was going to be passed on to Dorothy.
Well, unfortunately, Charles, I've got the half of the story. I didn't realize that part until we arrived here.
And that's when you realized that Dorothy had to die.
Quite.
No.
I was going to leave it for a respectable time. But then I overheard Elizabeth and Pierre. They were talking about Dorothy. It was perfect. All I had to do just to sit and wait.
And they killed her for you.
I'm afraid that you are not clever as you think, Mrs. Mabel.
But
they didn't kill her. But you didn't do it. She said, he is trying to kill me.
Yeah, and so he did.
Who? Me?
Mr. Bunting. But why?
Well, Charles was quite right. He have seen Robert somewhere before. Don't you remember, Charles, in my bed?
Oh, Bunting. Oh, except your name's not Bunting, is it? It's Benson. Oh my God, you're the mess orderly who ran away with my good silver the same night.
That's right.
Baggy Bobby Benson is what me and the chaps used to call you. But that was more than 20 years ago.
28, Charles. 28 to be exact. My one excitement moment. And a Ferrari marriage. I recognized Robert as soon as I arrived here. It was convenient, and he was so happy to help me for a proportion of the profits. When I shot Mildred, he took me to the cellar and up the back stairs.
But I don't understand why he had to kill Dorothy. Someone else was going to do it for you.
Well, Bunting almost bungled that. When I explained to him that Dorothy was to be killed, he was too drunk to understand, and he thought that he had to do it himself. He bolted his head from the basement, shot her, and fell unconsciousness. Believe me, Mrs. Mabel, we were too lucky to get away with that.
But you didn't, because we know all about it now.
Get away from that!
Oh, darling. I think that we have to manage a little adventure for you, though.
Oh no!
Tragic accident! Over the cliff!
Oh God!
In the car, I think.
Margaret, I beg you. It doesn't have to be this way. Not the Bentley!
A little embarrassing coming so soon after the other killings, but then the police already have the murders, and it does have advantages. Bunting, we get all the money.
You can't really mean it.
Just watch me, Charles. Keep them covered, Robert.
Oh, thank you, Mr. Bunting. I was wondering when Thompson has left it.
What?
Afternoon, all.
What? What?
Stop! You got the wrong ones! Inspector!
Stay there!
Stop that! Inspector, they are the murderers!
Oh, God!
That's not there! It's outside!
Oh, God!
Oh, come on, Thompson! Are you getting hop faster than this, man? Oh, out of the way, man!
Please! Oh, God.
I wonder if one of you might assist Constable Thompson. He seems to have injured his other foot.